your new chapter on digestion and absorption. So this is under zoology. So this is digestion and absorption. Now first of all, what is digestion? Okay, what is digestion? So digestion means it is the breaking down of complex substances into simpler form so that those simpler forms can be absorbed by our tissues. So in order to gain energy. So therefore digestion is a hydrolytic process. Hydrolytic means breaking down, in which the complex food materials are broken down. That means into simpler soluble forms, but this is mediated by enzymes. Means this is carried out with the help of some enzymes which are secreted by particular cells or tissues present in our body. Now what type of complex substances are broken down? So the complex substances which are broken down are termed as nutrients, which may be either macronutrients or micronutrients. Macro or micronutrients. So macronutrients includes carbohydrates and proteins. So generally in the process of digestion, the macronutrients are broken down and the micronutrients includes minerals and vitamins. Now during the process of digestion, the macronutrients are broken down, but though the micronutrients are required in small amount, but it is necessary to carry out some essential function, as in absence of these micronutrients the person may show some deficiency disorders. Okay, such as if there is a deficiency in vitamin, the person will show vitamin deficiency. So therefore mainly in this chapter for digestion we will study about the macronutrients. Now the process by which, or the system that is involved in breaking the complex into simpler form is the digestive system. Okay, so is our digestive system, and this digestive system includes the alimentary canal. Means the whole digestive system includes the alimentary canal, and the parts of the organ present within the alimentary canal is involved in the system, and this alimentary canal begins from our mouth to the anus. That means mouth means oral cavity or the buccal cavity, following the esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So it begins from the anterior opening. The mouth is our anterior opening and the posterior opening is the anus. Okay, so we will see one by one the different parts of the alimentary canal. Now first is the oral or the buccal cavity. That means the structures which are present within our mouth. The first structure is the teeth. Okay, so for teeth we have to know three terms. There are three terms you need to study in teeth topic. So first is the heterodont. Now the word itself says hetero means what? Mixture. Okay, so heterodont means human teeth are of 4 different types. So as you know, you have studied already in your class 10 courses that heterodont means human teeth consist of 4 different types, which includes incisor, canines, premolars and molars. Okay, now this is represented in the form of a formula which is known as dental formula, which we call it as which is given as 2123 by 2123. That means 2 incisor, 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars. That means this is 8 in number, half 8 left part, half 8 on the right part, upper and lower. Together if we see, we'll get 32 in number. That means 2123 by 2123. If we multiply by 2, therefore we'll get total in 32. So that is about heterodont. Next is diphodont. That means human teeth in the lifetime of human being, there are 2 sets of teeth. Okay, so the whole means the teeth. There are 2 types of teeth during the course of lifespan. That is, first form teeth is known as milk teeth, which is later on replaced by permanent teeth. Since 2 sets of teeth are seen in the lifespan of a man, therefore we call it as diphodont. If you are asked what do you mean by diphodont, then you have to answer like throughout the lifespan human being consists of 2 sets of teeth. The third term is the thicodont. Now, first one is heterodont, second is diphodont, and third is thecodont. Thecodont means the teeth are embedded. That means they are deeply rooted in the socket of the jaw. Okay. So, since teeth are embedded or deeply rooted in the socket of the jaw, therefore human teeth is also known as thecodont. That means you have to remember three terms for teeth. One is diphodont, one is heterodont, the other is thecodont. Now dental formula, as I have told, it is 2123 by 2123. But if you are asked for a child, that means in case of child the premolar is absent, therefore it is 2102 by 2102, and for 17-year-old it is 2122 by 2122. So this part you just remember for the objective, that means in terms of competitive exam. So that is dental formula for child and a 17-year-old boy or a girl. Next is, if you see the structure of a teeth, so structure, it appears in that way. That means the whole teeth is divided into three parts. One is crown, next is neck. This part is known as crown, this is neck, and this is root. So in crown part, the hardest part is known as the enamel, and enamel is the hardest part in our body, and this enamel helps in chewing, okay, mastication of the food. Next to enamel is the dentine, then this is the gum. It is the pulp cavity where nerves, blood vessels are present. So from these nerves and blood vessels are deeply rooted in the inside. Okay. So this is all about the teeth. Now next is tongue. Now the tongue is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. The tongue is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity by a thin fold, transparent thin fold, which we call this as frenula. Now for 1 mark this question used to come. Name the structure through which the tongue is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity, and it is the, sometimes it is also known as lingual frenulum, or else you can call it as frenulum only. So again, the space between the teeth and the lips is known as vestibule. Okay, the space present between the teeth and the lips is known as vestibule, and in on the surface of the tongue we see some taste buds. Okay, some taste buds, and these structures, which we call it as papillae also. We call it as papillae, and in case of human, 4 types of papillae are seen. Now this structure is known as sulcus terminalis. See, the sulcus terminalis is the structure present towards the posterior end, and this sulcus terminalis divides. Sulcus terminalis means it is an inverted V shape. It is an inverted V shape, a furrow, okay, or a furrow, which divides the upper surface of the tongue. Into anterior and posterior end. That means this structure divides the whole tongue into anterior and posterior part. Now other than sulcus terminalis, we find 4 types of papillae, okay, on its surface. Number 1 is circumvallate. See, circumvallate, it is the largest in size. And are spherical in shape, which also consists of the taste buds. Second is the foliate papillae, but foliate papillae is absent in case of man. Third one is fungiform. Okay, fungiform papillae, and this appears as red dots. Okay, they appears as red dots, and you can see on the side, lateral side of the tongue, and this also consists of the taste buds. And the last is the filiform, which is numerous in number. It is abundant in number, the filiform apparatus, but it does not consist of any taste buds. Means the papillae are devoid of the taste buds. So this is all about the tongue. So from the tongue part, you have to just remember the frenulum one. So frenulum. Now the next structure that comes within the oral cavity is the palate. Okay, so palate means it represents the roof of the buccal cavity. Palate is the roof of the buccal cavity, and it is divided into 2 parts, the anterior part and the posterior part. The anterior part is known as the hard palate, and the posterior part is known as the soft palate. That means hard palate consists of the bone, okay, upper part, which consists of the palatine bone. Now next structure is tonsil. So tonsils actually are the lymph glands. Lymph glands means what? It serves to provide immunity to the body. That means it destroys any infection or harmful bacteria which is if it is present in the upper respiratory and the digestive tract. Therefore it provides, tonsils also act as a source of immunity to the body. So these act as a lymph gland. Now this tonsil is again are of three types. One is lingual tonsil, one is nasopharyngeal, and the other is palatine. So the posterior part, lingual tonsil is present in the posterior part of the tongue, and nasopharyngeal, it is also known as adenoids or also known as Luscus tonsils, and these tonsils hangs from the roof of the nasopharynx. Okay, but it hangs from the roof of the nasopharynx, and the size of the size of the nasopharyngeal tonsil vary according to the age. And third is the palatine tonsil. Palatine tonsils are bilateral. That means they are present on the lateral side. So they are bilateral almond shaped tonsils, and this is also known as Weldier's ring. Okay, so this tonsil is also known as Weldier rings, and these tonsils also vary according to the age. So these are the three types of tonsils that acts as a lymph glands in providing immunity. So if that inflammation of tonsils occur, then we call it as tonsillitis. So in that case you will suffer from pain. Okay, so inflammation of tonsil, we call it as tonsillitis. So next structure is pharynx. So now pharynx is the common opening. Okay, pharynx is the common opening for both the foot pipe and the windpipe. So it is present behind the buccal cavity, and both the buccal cavity and the nasal cavity. Okay, so nasal cavity has the common opening, that is the pharynx, and this pharynx just in pharynx only, the foot pipe and the below the pharynx, the foot pipe and the windpipe is separated by a flap-like structures made up of cartilage, which we call it as epiglottis. This pharynx is again divided into three parts. One is nasopharynx, one is oropharynx, one is laryngopharynx. So nasopharynx is present in the nasal part. Okay, it is present in the nasal part or the upper part that receives the opening of the nasal cavity. That means internal nares. Nasal cavity means from the nose. The first part is the nasopharynx, and so the name is called as naso. And this part is has nothing to do with the digestion, and it is the only means part that helps in breathing. Okay, so this is helps in entry of air. So therefore this is the first part of the pharynx, which you call it as nasopharynx. Second is oropharynx. It is the portion just behind the buccal cavity. So just behind the buccal cavity is the oropharynx, and it extends from the soft palate to the epiglottis. Okay, it extends from the soft palate to the epiglottis. It deals with both digestion and respiration. That means it is involved in both the process of digestion and respiration. Third is laryngopharynx. So it is the lowermost portion of the pharynx that leads to the larynx and esophagus. That means it opens into larynx and esophagus. So it extends from the border of the epiglottis to the first part of the esophagus. Okay. So then it becomes continuous with the esophagus. So this is about the types of or the parts of a pharynx, and the proximal, you can say it is the proximal openings of the pharynx, or the opening of the trachea is called glottis. Opening of the windpipe is called glottis, which is covered by a flap-like structure made up of cartilage, which we call it as epiglottis. So glottis remain normally open, but during swallowing of the food or when we eat food, it gets covered by the epiglottis so that the food does not get enter into the windpipe. So this is all about pharynx. Is the esophagus. Okay. So next is esophagus. So which we also call it as food pipe. So it is the muscular tube-like structure which is around 25 centimeter in length approximate, and it opens from the pharynx part. That means pharynx opens into the esophagus, And next point you see in the board, it is a thin long tube that extends posteriorly through the neck, thorax, diaphragm and opens into stomach. So the esophagus opens into the stomach through the joining. This is the joining which we call it as sphincter. Okay, and the name of the sphincter is gastroesophageal sphincter. That means the opening of the esophagus into the stomach is guarded by gastroesophageal sphincter. So remember the name of the sphincter. Sphincter means the joints from which one part of the alimentary canal opens into the next part. Now next structure is the stomach. Okay, so stomach is the J-shaped organ. So it is a J-shaped organ, and it is the most dilated part of the alimentary canal, which is situated in between the stomach, in between the esophagus and the small intestine. So it is just below the diaphragm. Okay, it is just below the diaphragm, and this stomach has three parts. Okay, the first part is known as cardiac, second is the fundus, and the last part is known as pyloric. The pyloric part again opens into the small intestine, which is again guarded by a sphincter, which we call it as pyloric sphincter. Okay, which we also call it as pyloric sphincter. Now the curvature, there is a greater curvature in the left border of the stomach, okay, between the cardiac and the pyloric, and the curvature is more, which we call it as greater curvature, while a lesser curvature is on the right border of the stomach between the same limits. Okay, so greater curvature between a left border, on the left border, and the lesser curvature is we call it as on the right border. So this is all about the stomach part. And regarding the glands and all, this is just the parts. Okay, parts the stomach consists of. Regarding glands and secretions, we will study in the mechanism part. So this is all about stomach.